The device was put on pause. They locked me out until I started recording. And let's see how the descriptions are going. So it would not open YouTube, period. I started recording and immediately pretended like it was going to open. Now I assume that they cut my dad off again. When they're upset, they do this every single day, multiple different times a day. My provider and everyone else that can pathologically lie to cover for it. People that here have lied and covered for it. The person that threatened to leave me at Walmart, and that also interrupts me standing up for myself with people being bullied and mistreated for trying to flee abuse. That also did it the other day. Told me that no, when my data was cut off and I tried to use the data here and it would upload, I told him my device was hacked. He said, no, it's not. I said, I'm not quite certain on why you think you know me. Why would you tell me my device isn't hacked when it is? Can you explain why I can't use my data and why I can't use the Wi-Fi if it's not hacked? He stated that it's bad service here in this environment. My device was not hacked. That people are dropped off in my environments knowing that you would never believe my story. All they would have to do is look at the camera footage. They can see multiple different people that I've had conversations with are now being interrupted talking to me by multiple different parties. Before, everything was normal. I went out with people. We had a good rapport. There was no problems. Then when my abuser was mad, he blacklisted me from all relationships, even family. So this has been a pattern that has followed me ever since I was targeted. People will say that they like me and he gets jealous and he demands that no one talks to me, even in jail on false charges. Proof of that is that Frank Crowley, that I was having conversations with people and this particular inmate kept interrupting me speaking. And then eventually she assaulted me for talking. And then the guards came and were about to take me to isolation. This is a typical pattern. When I'm threatened or mistreated, they put me in isolation and punish me, just like what happens in the free world for reporting abuse. So nonetheless, and Frank Crowley, they were trying to put me in isolation, and then multiple different parties said, no, what are you doing? You are putting the wrong person. She assaulted her. And then they were forced, because they were in cahoots, they were forced to put this other party in isolation. That's why now they have realized that they need to control the inmates, knowing you never believe it. So now the inmates condone and they'll blatantly lie to cover for me being mistreated, and then lie and say nobody goes to court. Because of COVID, they have stopped everyone from going to court. Now they're doing a year, 7 months for a criminal trespass. Everyone in my tanks are being violated by the police. So everyone's in jail on false charges. No, like products that I was trying to buy on commissary, inmates were covering for the fact that they were controlling my commissary. Yeah, they ran out. When they run out, nobody can purchase it. But if they run out, how would the things that I like? So after I ran out of funds for commissary, then they scammed that now they had inventory and people were getting items that I couldn't purchase and eating it in front of me. But they claimed that when I had money on my book, when I had money, all the things that I needed were out. This is a way of also denying me purchase in jail as well. So nonetheless, the inmate assaulted me. They took pictures, and I wanted to put in the report that the inmate, I believe, was controlled. It's Lou Sterick. I keep calling it Frank Crowley. So I wanted to put in the report that the inmate was controlled, and she kept interrupting my conversations. They wouldn't let me put it in there. They said it was too long. I said, okay, I wanted to put in the report the inmate hit me for talking. They said you couldn't put that. All you could do is put one sentence, the inmate hit me. So it was like 7 guards. But the 7 guards were not trying to protect me. The 7 guards were intimidating me and bullying me for being hit, just like they did when I was assaulted on using DART transit. I think you should see that. They've cut off the data, don't want me doing the descriptions, and I can't use this device. That's why I have to have multiple. And they demand that I be treated like this. They demand it because police have interrupted me trying to report that my devices are being controlled, which jeopardizes my safety. Devices that I'm paying for and can't use. This isn't free. I'm paying for this service. So they're letting someone from a horror movie cut off that's criminal. We did see in for terroristic threats, cutting off someone's communication is criminal. Cutting my phone off, cutting off transit, that's a form of a terroristic threat. Multiple people would do this. This lady wouldn't let me buy. And then my device stopped recording the cover for her assaulting me. So what happened was she was in the store. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." She deliberately blocked my path, and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I can't get by." And her response to that was to assault me.
He wants to intimidate me because I just left the park and tell me I have a criminal trespass.
I'm positive, but it wouldn't pause.
They can't find the criminal trespass. I don't.
So I told him about
fake criminal
assault.
trespasses that are going to be leading to
So I told him about the assault, and he's telling me about a criminal trespass. And I paused it, but it wouldn't pause. So while I look for this video,
arrest for fake police that commit crimes. Yeah, they're all dismissed. And I couldn't go to court on none of them, so it's probably going to lead to arrest of the people that were paid to do it. So I don't need people to intimidate me for
so they
the
scammed. I had a criminal trespass to validate the reasoning that why DART police let my abuser control him and let him be in a jealous rage and had police just to take my freedom when I was all dressed up, had bus drivers close the door on me to deprive me of transit, had trains and buses shut down, had them actually kidnap me. So I'm reporting this over and over and over to police and armies full of people, had them stop from nowhere, endangering multiple different parties' safety, causing me to hit the front of the dash of the bus in malice and fall. All of this recorded, causing me to bleed and almost kill me. And what they chose to do with all that is scam a criminal trespass to conceal the fact that they were taking bribes to let my abuser control and transit in malice and control it to keep me from being in vital places, even purchasing food. So that it's close, shutting down all transit. For example, like I would deliberately try to strategize my transit to not get terrorized. And when they couldn't control the transit, they shut down all transit. They would demand that I go a certain location. Like, let's say, for example, that there's options for Bachman, several different locations. They shut it down and control the whole transit and then have it stop at a location it couldn't stop so they can pinpoint where I was going and demand that I be in controlled places. So they're supposed to go all the way to Carrollton in different locations. They would shut it down altogether. And we have already addressed that is criminal to shut down transit. And they repeatedly kept doing it over and over to the degree of where they arrested me for using transit. So I'm reporting the assault, and this is the reaction. The lady just assaulted me.
Then you are committing a crime
We can't talk about the assault. They're demanding that I boarding me off property for trying to report assault.
I reported 3 criminal offenses to you. You're committing a criminal offense now.
I went through with it. I told you, contact IA. I told you.
Right, but why do you think I'd be out here if I'm not using the transportation?
Okay, so if I reported 3 crimes to him, can you explain why he's bullying me and mistreating me for reporting assault if they're not in cahoots with the assault? If you think this is isolated, let's keep going. August was a very, very, very hard month. Okay. This is when the thing happened. This is a Northern District Court situation. I assume that someone was very upset about what was going on with the Northern District Court where I had the case against my abuser. So during this month, I was being terrorized. In addition to that, they gave me a criminal trespass from the court, that which is obstruction of justice, to where I could not appear to where I had an active case. It was a big, huge scene. They took my backpack, bullied me, mistreated me for trying to enter. My device covered for it, and you could not hear the sound that they scammed. They took my backpack to ensure that I did not leave before they issued this criminal trespass and malice. So they're terrorizing me and then slandering me, knowing you never believe it, saying I didn't understand what was happening. Why would people terrorize me, then blame me for it? It's a smear campaign. These are gang stalkers. It's prearranged, as you know, to make it seem like I'm problematic and I'm actually terrorizing people. I think I'm not sure, but I think I got on first and then they got on. But nonetheless, this is what happened. So I tried to use laughter to cope with being terrorized.
I just reported crimes. Well, you need to call security, bus driver. You're not supposed to let them threaten me. You're supposed to call for help. I'm on the bus driver. I got some.
So I couldn't even talk because I was scared, but you couldn't really tell.
I can get in the back. I can get in the back.
Because
Bus
people
driver,
are
you're not
allowed to
supposed to let them talk
terrorize
to
me
me
like
that.
this, and I couldn't do anything
And
about
they
it.
threatening me.
It's kind of arresting. Bitch, you ain't go to school. It's kind of arresting.
Degraded
driver, they're
over
threatening
and
me on
over
your bus.
again.
Yeah, man. They put you in that conversation, okay?
What are you talking about?
So they're calling me the B word and threatening me, and the bus driver's trying to validate it. They did trap me on a train while I was being threatened. It was misconduct because the staff would not open the door in areas it was supposed to open. That was July 4th of 2019. And then I reported it to Lindsay, and he warded me off property. And then later took my freedom for profit 2 more times after that. So I'm reporting this being tortured, using transit, degraded, trapped on trains, buses, defrauded out of funds, paying for free Parkland when it's supposed to be free, and they deceived me and had me paying when it's free transit. And then a lot of times they cut on garage and all kind of things to keep me from using transit, knowing you never believe it.
You put yourself in our
Okay, wait a minute. Let me understand. That both of them threatened to fight me, and you said, are they right? Well, both of them threatened to fight me. Would this be like when I got trapped on the train and the train driver let them threaten me? Is this like that now?
Can you move your phone from behind me, bro?
So is this like when I got trapped on the train and I'm not a lawsuit, sir.
Look at his face.
I got a lawsuit going.
Don't let me shut this bus down now. Shut it down. We get out anyway.
Don't make me shut the bus down.
Well, you should have shut down when Shay was threatening me, bus driver. This reminds me of when that man was helping them harass me on the train.
That's assault. That the police department covered for.
And I recorded it. No, because I'm got a suit dart and you for being to a conspiracy. As long as you keep harassing me, I'm recording it. Because I already knew it was going to pop out. And y'all going to jail. And he going to jail for being conspiracy with it. That's why I hope the feds are on it. You got to watch what you conspire to do.
Okay, so they're enlisted to...
The bus driver. That's what happened on the train. And they allowed it. Hey, I got recorded what you said. And all the rest of the abuse.
This was a repeated thing, multiple different environment shelters, bought off and paid before I entered the environment.
This is like when y'all let the people threaten me on the bus. And if the feds are watching, y'all are going to prison. You didn't call no security and you let them do all that. You're going to jail.
We got spray on.
2 assaults on 1 bus. Bus driver witnessing all of
This
it.
is like when y'all let the people and you let them sit there and threaten me.
You didn't go sit down, okay? You didn't go sit down.
Don't get mad at me and I just got assaulted on your bus.
All environments demand. It is not an option for me. Like in the other environment, they are demand that I'm a doormat. It's prearranged and bought off and paid. Someone's dropped off and they enforce that I'm mistreated, psychological abuse, ostracized, isolated. And like I said, it's strategized to enforce that it happens. It's pre-bought off and paid. So that party wants to make sure that they get their money's worth. And it's not an option for me not to be violated. You will be punished for wanting to be treated like a human being. This particular officer took a report of me being kidnapped on a DART train. What happened was the DART driver, this guy was talking to me and I was being illegally monitored. And he said that I'm going to show you because I was forced into homelessness and blacklisted from all shelter. So he said that we had this is just a street, completely random person said that, yeah, let's go to White Rock. I said, ooh, I love the water. Let's go. And he said, okay, I'm going to show you this great environment. So the bus driver greets us. Stalking is a felony, greets us and lets us in. The train driver, someone on the train guarding the train. So we all get in, sit down, and then I guess someone informed the train driver that they didn't want me going with this guy to White Rock Lake and finding this secret location, to where the beautiful spot at the lake. So what they did was they, after she greeted everyone and let us in, all of a sudden the whole transit shut down. Okay. Everyone got off, and I questioned, why would you try to greet us and let us in and then shut down this last train? I said, when is the next train coming? Because this is the last train, and if this is being shut down, we don't have transit. So what she chose to do with that question is everyone had got off, and I was asking the question. She locked the doors and kidnapped me on the train. So for multiple different stops, she wouldn't let me off and demanded that I go to the garage. It caused me to have to sleep outside in a commercial area. I called the police because it put my safety at risk. I didn't know where I was at. She kidnapped me and took me to the garage. C. Palavic came and took the report that was never investigated. I said, please, my safety's at risk. I don't want to sleep outside in the residential area. I have a bus pass and can't use it. Now there's no more transit. It's happened multiple different times. They strategized to have me stuck in these predicaments to be terrified for my life, for the psychological damage. Like putting me out of shelters at 1 a.m. or locations at 1 a.m. And like the other day at Target, it's keeping me from using transit, which is terrifying for me. So nonetheless, C. Palavic said that he could not take me to a safe environment. I told him I was being violated. There's multiple different assaults DART has knowledge of, and I felt that my safety is at risk. People assault me, and I've been deprived of law enforcement. It's not safe for me to sleep outside. I've had to do it at multiple different circumstances because they kept repeatedly doing it. So nonetheless, C. Palavic said he can't help me and forced me to have to sleep outside until the train started running again. And then police were monitoring me. They were doing, they kept patrolling all night to do checkup on me. They wanted to know if I was talking to somebody or what was going on. So I saw a police officer stationed to keep the area under control. It's not my device is covering for crimes. I said, I don't know if what you heard about C. Palavic covering for me being trapped on the train because my device is glitching and taken to the garage. So watch his demeanor after hearing that I was assaulted. The bus driver's lying to cover for the assault. They're just really scheming to deprive me of transit and not go to prison for it. They know it's a crime.
You got camera footage on here, right? Okay, well, you got to pull it because he's lying. Okay, but we got to pull the camera footage because I've already reported.
This is how they treat witnesses.
I know. Yeah.
He
never do when he let somebody threaten me. Can I make sure I got my ticket? It's back there behind you. I can't go through you.
So they get to assault me repeatedly over and over, and look at how I'm being treated. And
I want to talk to you on the bus with the cameras. So he's lying. No, I know.
So they demand I get off.
Assaulted. I did. It's on camera footage. I want to talk about it on camera.
Why would he treat someone like that after being assaulted?
You don't need to be angry. They assaulted me and he's lying.
Okay. So then.
Okay.
I'm holding up the bus. But assaulting someone on the bus was not. 2 times on one bus.
Let's go to 7-Eleven.
They don't want to be around witnesses, and they demand that I'm isolated.
I need to go where there's
they will not talk to me around witnesses. I don't have that right.
No, I'm not good because the corruption is too strong. No, I'm not safe.
They won't talk to me.
No, I have 7 false arrests for corruption. I'm not safe. Let's go to 7-Eleven and get the report. I was assaulted on the bus and he's lying. When Jason's angry, these bus drivers put me off and slander my name. I said, please call the police. They assaulted me. And police cover for the assault.
So the man on the left.
Drivers. All you have to do is pull the camera footage to know that I got assaulted on that bus. And I asked him to call the police and he wouldn't. And then when I took the camera out, what's your name? When I took the camera out, then he called the police, but he wouldn't call when they assaulted me. 5'10".
Okay, so this man to the left right here he claims that he was doing, I realized that I was being terrorized at the Dallas Convention Center. They had emergency shelter there for COVID-19 for homeless people, and I was forced into homelessness. So they were hoping I don't remember faces. So a lot of the abusers and police that were following me and violating me were doing security at the convention center. So the problem with how the convention center looked, they had enough security like the president of the United States was staying there. It was very, very intimidated, the abuse of power. What was happening is that they needed to control, it was too many people at the convention center. The government needed to control my ability. They had all kind of programs for homeless people that were being hidden from me. They were putting people in shelter, giving them all kind of programs, supplies, and emergency things, but they needed all the security to enforce these group of people, excluded me from all that. In addition to that, they needed to charge my devices during COVID. They needed to make sure that, my devices were controlled and stolen from me. And there were issues that I was being terrorized. They played games with the food and all kind of other different things. So they wanted to make sure that my experience there was toxic. So another thing that they did is that they would centralize when I'd shower, and then they would cut off the hot water and then demand that I shower with cold water, and only gave me 5 minutes. It was really controlled. And then sometimes in malice, they scam that now I change my mind, bully and mistreat me and say, no, this time you're only getting 2 minutes. But I'm forced out in the tent, afraid for my life. So I needed the shower, and they would demand I would have soap all over my body, expecting 5 minutes, and then I get bullied and mistreated for 2 minutes. And he supervised all of this. So he claims that he's doing volunteer work at the convention center. So COVID was scary. So I was trying to watch the news and figure out what was going on with COVID. They watched the news all the time. Time I got over there and sat down, he cut the TV off prematurely. And then I questioned why he cut the TV off, and he did not want to talk to me, inform me on why he did it. And this is how I've been treated years. So then someone threatens me at the convention center, and he says that he's going to put me off property for being threatened, and will not take the report that like he didn't take this report that I was assaulted. So it was a repeated pattern for the same party.
Okay, yeah. Okay, 513. Okay. Just wanted your badge number because there's a lot of corruption around me. Yeah.
So they never investigated the assault. None of the assaults. What they chose to do with all of the assaults, the kidnappings, the threats, and all of it, what they chose to do with that notion is give me a bogus criminal trespass from nowhere and take my freedom. And cover for the bus driver almost killing me in a scam. What happened was they repeatedly closed the door, caused me to bleed, caused me to fall, all kind of torment, left me and jeopardized my safety, forced me to sleep outside repeatedly over and over, all kinds of scams that were terrifying. And so nonetheless, the bus driver, humans make errors. So the bus driver let everyone in and then closed the door. And then I was leaning on the bus, and then I almost fell up under the bus and almost got ran over. Another time, the bus driver tried to scam and defraud me out of funds, let me pay for bus fare, and then said I didn't pay. And they know everything because I'm being illegally monitored. Everything they know. All I had was that money, and I was trying to get to other money. All I had was that just enough for bus fare, and they scammed a false arrest, and I was trying to get my property, and they withheld my property and sent me on wild goose chases looking for my property. So when all I have is just bus fare, they'll scam and hold me up to leave me trapped and not being able to use transit. So he scammed that I did not pay him, and then said that they tried to rob me of those funds and demand money that I didn't have another bus driver. So I bought a new battery pack because I was being terrorized like this, assaulted, and all these different things were going on. So I'm new to technology and things of that sort. So nonetheless, I bought the battery pack. I had just bought it, and I needed to keep the battery pack charged and my devices to record the insanity I experienced. I had just bought the battery pack, and it was stolen. So all these bullying guards at the mysterious people at the convention center are putting me out because I'm reporting the battery pack.
And I'm going on my own. But I didn't know that I was going to get bullied for just reporting the theft. I am. Why would you do all this because I want to report a theft? Come on. We're not taking this at your leisure, okay? Well, I don't understand why I keep getting mistreated. I just wanted to. I was reporting the theft, and you want me to leave for reporting the theft.
My abuser likes me being filmed, being violated.
Yeah, I just showed you on my phone. They said I can't do police reports, and you got furious and put me out. So it's a crime for you to try to intimidate me and bully me for reporting the abuse.
That's the woman's side. He shouldn't be over there.
You were putting me out for reporting the crime.
No, we've asked you several times to get in line.
I'm already in line. I just got in line.
Ready to get your stuff, did we not?
Why am I getting my stuff and reporting the crime?
Where to go report it, did we not?
I just showed you on the phone that they told me I can't report crimes there, so I don't know what to do.
What did the LT just tell you? The LT told you we are not here to do those reports. We are here for security.
Right, so I need to know where to go.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that you're guarding the place like the president of the United States is saying there, and you're doing security? What is the security for? You can't report a theft, but you're doing security? So what your con is that you're acting like the president of the United States is staying at the Dallas Convention Center where I'm repeatedly violated and terrorized, games with the food and everything that I do. And then your con is that you're doing security that excludes security of me being violated. This
Because if
happens
I
at
get harassed,
all
I don't know
locations.
why police harass me like this.
All
Grab your
locations.
stuff.
It's
Grab
not an
your stuff.
option
Grab
to
your
not be
stuff.
violated.
Because it's like you guys are
This is
bullying
what
me,
happens
like you're
when you don't want to
working
be
for my
violated.
abuser.
Get your stuff.
Grab your stuff.
I'm getting it. Why are you angry with me because I had something stolen?
I'm not. I want you to get your stuff so you can go do your report.
So you're putting me out, forcing me to do a report, and I got an armband on? That's putting me further in danger?
See, the man
Are you
still
covering for my
walking.
bully?
Where's your stuff at, man?
It's over there.
Now he's playing.
So, I mean, isn't this a crime?
Which one?
To try to tamper with evidence?
Which one?
Because why would you get this a bit abusive? Because I'm reporting a crime of a theft, a $15.
Where's your stuff?
I don't understand why you guys are mistreating me like this for reporting a theft.
You know what? Let's just put her in handcuffs and take her to jail.
Oh,
Why
yes.
am I going to jail?
They promptly released me when they found out how many false arrests I had. But before they released me, they tried to scam that I had tickets. Then that con didn't work, and then after that con didn't work, they released me, but demanded that I never come back to the convention center. The whole objective is that I not record crimes. Knowing I was trapped in COVID, could not get shelter, blacklisted from all shelter, they wanted me to be terrorized. The problem with this is that you saw all of this going on. Sometimes when you dig a hole from someone else for someone else, you fall in it. So if you scam to deprive someone of services, well, what happened with COVID with you? Is someone else abuse your problem? Well, some kind of way you witnessed me being violated and did nothing. Then you didn't have rights either with COVID. Someone's outside. Let's see what this is about. He's working on a weather stripping that he worked on a couple days ago, like 2 or 3 days ago. I find it mysterious if you just put weather stripping on it 3 days ago. It's bizarre that you have to correct it again, but this has happened years. It's bizarre that my apartment complex gave me a stove with one eye, made me wait 6 months, and then after 6 months said that yeah, the eye works, and then one eye worked and two eyes didn't work after making me wait 6 months to repair the other eyes. I said, "Are you sure I want to cook for the holidays?" He said, "Yes." Sure enough, only 2 eyes worked. So let's try this again and hopefully we can get the problem resolved.